what of the things that you've done do you think will stand in the new administration? I mean, they're already talking about reversing a lot that you put into place.
Well, you know, it does seem as if anything that was my idea is considered fair game for elimination by the incoming administration. I don't fully understand that kind of motive. But the fact is that we've already given to California and Florida $400 million that should have been right here in Ohio creating jobs, building a rail infrastructure, improving our freight system, and establishing passenger rail service, making it much more likely that Ohio would actually be a state where rail cars were built and manufactured. $400 million is a lot of money. It was something that I fought for, and it was a sad day when California and Florida were able to rejoice in getting our money. That was, you know, that was sad. Now, I think the energy bill that we passed will probably remain. Our renewable and advanced technology portfolio standard, I think, is likely to be kept in place. I certainly hope so, because I think if that were to be altered, it would be tragic for the state. Our education reforms, I hope, are salvaged. I know there's been a lot of talk about eliminating the evidence-based model. That may be easier said than done. I think the fact that we created the university system of Ohio and tried to bring collaboration and cooperation among our community colleges, branch campuses, and major campuses, I hope that remains in place. Our emphasis on a comprehensive transportation system, not only focusing on roads and bridges, but focusing on ports, water ports, and airports, as well as intermodal facilities and urban transit activities. I think that's a good thing. I hope that remains a part of the new administration's planning, but I don't know for sure.
When you took office, you released the resumes of all the people who had applied for jobs under your administration.
Yes.
Was that a difficult decision for you to make?
No, it was not, because I felt like it was consistent with what I was obligated to do by the law. And my obligation as governor is to do everything I can to try to be compliant with the law. So we didn't look for gimmicks or tricks that would enable us to violate the spirit of the law. And so, no, it was not difficult. We felt like we were obligated to do it. We did it, and we didn't question whether or not we should.
Do you think Ohio gets lesser quality people applying for jobs because they're afraid their names might get out there in the public realm?
No. I always find it a little humorous that some people who have a high opinion of themselves would consider that there should be rules for them that don't apply to everyone else. And so, if you want to serve in a public position, then you ought to be able to be candid and open about your desire to do that, your experiences, your background, and what skills or talents you may bring to that position. And quite frankly, I've never felt like that those who work in the public sector are lesser qualified or have fewer skills than the people who work in the public sector. The fact is that state government is a big business. Billions of dollars are dealt with, and major decisions are made which affect the life safety and well-being of, in Ohio, about 11.4 million people. And so I've never referred to those who work for the public as bureaucrats in a, that kind of mocking way. I consider them to be public servants. Most of them do a wonderful job. Occasionally, just as there is in the private sector, there are incompetent individuals or unethical persons. But by and large, I think those who serve the public as public employees do a wonderful job.
Any closer to making a decision on where you go from here?
No, I hope to work until I die. So retirement is not something that I will ever look forward to or will ever engage in. I probably will end up doing a number of things, not just one single thing, but I don't know that for sure.
Is running for another public office on your list of things to do?
Well, it's not something that I've said that I will not do.
There's rumblings out there that you're going to run for your own congressional seat. Is that something you've thought about?
No, I haven't thought about that. But there are lots of things I haven't thought about that I may contemplate doing in the months and years to come.
Are you going to stay engaged in public policy?
Absolutely.
Where are you going to live?
Well, at least temporarily. I'm going to live here in Columbus in a condo off No Bixby Road.
So you're staying in the Columbus area, is that?
Yes, at least for the time being.
Okay. I want to go back to the mansion and the inmate program just briefly.
Sure.
Do you think the governor-elect has had some strong words about that program last week?
What did he say?
Poorly run, bad oversight. He hadn't made a decision on it, but he said something to the extent of, sounds like that might go by the wayside. Do you think that is the criticism that's leveled at that merited?
No. I can tell you what Senator George Voinovich said to me about that controversy when I talked with him at the Ohio State-Michigan ball game. He said that was a bunch of bullshit. That program has been in operation over multiple years and under multiple governors. Mr. Kasich, I don't know how much time he has spent looking at the program, studying the program. But quite frankly, I doubt if he's really spent much time doing that. I don't know if he's talked to Reggie Wilkinson, the person that we've asked to thoroughly review the program. I guess what I would wonder is, how much does Mr. Kasichs know about the program? How well has he informed himself? And it has served a lot of governors, saved the state a lot of money, a great deal of money. It's provided work experiences for mostly younger inmates that are nearing the completion of their term, making it much more likely that they're going to be employable once they leave the prison system. And so it'll be Mr. Kasich's decision, but I would hope that he would inform himself about the merits of the program before he made a decision about it.
The big city chambers had a press conference this morning about a new study they're releasing about transforming state government dealing with budget issues. They said they briefed you on that earlier. Any comment on that, the contents in that report?
No, I think, it's important, to look at what can be done to become more efficient, to save money. But I also think it's important to understand that society has an obligation to care about all of its citizens. And what we need is, a healthy business environment. I think Ohio has one. I think we certainly have the best, most competitive tax structure in the Midwest, one of the best in America now. And but I think the long-term growth of our state will depend upon our investment in education. And that's what I think is most critical to long-term economic growth. It's the kind of investment that you may not immediately see the results of, but if you neglect educating our people and our young people, keeping K through 12 education at a high level in terms of quality, and making sure that college and post-secondary education is accessible and affordable. If we don't do those things, we're going to be in real trouble.
I was going to ask you what your greatest fear is moving forward for Ohio, but I'll ask instead what's your greatest hope moving forward for Ohio?
That we'll stay on track. I am absolutely convinced that Ohio is well positioned for economic growth. I think that's reflected in the fact that we're one of only 2 states that's seen 8 straight months of continuous decline in the unemployment rate. 21 states had increased unemployment last month. We went down for the 8th straight month. So I think we're primed for growth. I think our Department of Development has done a wonderful job, I hope that we'll stay focused, and I also think that the economy remains fragile, and I have some concern at both the federal and the state level that there will be such efforts to reduce investments and to cut back on spending that it could push us toward a double-dip recession.
Where'd you do your portrait?
I haven't done a portrait.
They haven't done your portrait? Are they doing a portrait? Don't they do a portrait of all the governors for that?
They tell me they do, and a photographer has come in and wants to take some pictures, but we haven't done anything.
Okay. Okay. I'm at my time.
Cool.
And I will keep you on task.